School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, we are live again. Again, we're live here on True School Sports. You know, it's the afternoon right now. It's currently 2:15 out here in Dallas, Texas, Central Standard Time. You know, a lot of great things happening. Tomorrow, we got the Maurice Hooker versus Vergil Ortiz fight. So if you didn't know already, I will be there. If you're in the Dallas area and you see me at the fight, make sure you say what's up. Hold on, we got to adjust this camera because this camera angle ain't doing it right now. This camera angle ain't doing it for your boy right now. Fuck. Nah, we'll just put it like that. We'll put it like that. Y'all are just gonna have to deal with the camera angle because got a bit of a different setup today. But look. Smash that like button if you're coming in, because there's a lot going on in boxing right now that we need to talk about. By the way, shout out to my man Christian Lewis. He said, if only I could go to Texas. Yeah, man. It's nice. It's a beautiful place. I love Texas. I really do love Texas. But done deal. Done deal. It's happening. Dot your T's. Cross your I's, or cross your I's, dot your T's, however it goes. Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Joe Saunders is official. We knew the fight was happening. We just didn't know where. But where has not been confirmed, because now they just announced that the fight is in fact going to be happening at the Cowboy Stadium in Dallas, Texas. It's going to be a momentous occasion as Canelo Alvarez once again tries to take down another opponent in the 168-pound division. Now, so far, let's just be real. Let's just call a spade a spade. Canelo Alvarez's resume at 168 is whack. It's extremely, extremely whack. He boxed Callum Smith, who everybody said was the number one super middleweight in the world, which is not true, because anybody who watched the John Ryder fight or the Niski-Holzken fight, they know that wasn't the case. That wasn't true. They knew that he was one of the weakest champions, if not the weakest champion in the whole weight class. So I wasn't too thrilled about him beating Callum Smith. It was a whatever fight to me, right? Then he fights Avni Yildirim in Miami, in my hometown, and pretty much that was a glorified sparring session. So to me, I look at this fight, and I'm going to give Canelo some credit for this fight, because this is a good, credible fight. This is a good, credible fight. Like, I give Canelo credit for taking this fight, because Billy Joe Saunders, he has some things in his style that don't always allow, that in the past haven't made Canelo look his best. Like, when he fought Austin Trout, you know, he didn't look that good. When he fought Lara, he didn't look that good. He won't fight Demetrius Andrade because he's a southpaw as well, and he probably wouldn't look that good against him either. But he's fighting Billy Joe, who people can say what they want about Billy Joe. Billy Joe's had his problems outside the ring. But when Billy Joe is on form and Billy Joe switched on, when Billy Joe's himself, you know, Billy Joe is a damn hard fighter to beat. We're talking about a southpaw with top boxing skills to boot. And he's someone that really, when we talk about Billy Joe, has the footwork, has the cleverness, has a boxing IQ to really give Canelo a hard time, because we have to ask ourselves the question: what exactly is Canelo Alvarez when he's at his best? When Canelo Alvarez is at his best, what is he doing? He's a flat-footed, come forward counterpuncher, a guy that can cut off the ring, a guy that's, you know, really good with the upper body movement and making you miss and making you pay. And the way he's able to get that done, and the styles that play most that allow him to set his feet, plant his feet, and from a boxing standpoint, is that Billy Joe Saunders has to where you will be led to believe, at least in spots of this fight, that Billy Joe Saunders won't allow Canelo to set his feet and have his way with him. You know, that's what I think. You know, whether or not, like, look, if Billy Joe goes in there and boxes his best fight, I still don't think he knocks out Canelo. But could he get a decision against Canelo? That's the question us as boxing fans got to really ask ourselves. And right now, we're coming off of the heels of Cholatito versus Estrada 2, in which Cholatito Gonzalez put on a defensive masterclass. You know, probably one of the most defensively responsible and sound performances of his career. And he was efficient with his punches, and he wasn't rewarded with the decision in Texas against the Mexican fighter. So here we go again. Another fight in Texas, another big fight in Texas. Can Billy Joe get a decision in Texas? I want to know from you guys in the comments. Let me know in the comments, all three of y'all. Let me know in the comments, because I don't think Billy Joe can get a decision. I just don't think. A lot of people are saying that I'm trying to discredit the accomplishments of Canelo. Listen, Billy Joe is a good fight, but it's not such a good fight to where like I gotta demean it. It's a good credible fight. He's supposed to beat him. Um, Kudos to him. But like I'm not trying to meet Canelo's accomplishments. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Cholatito didn't get a decision in Texas. Pernell Whitaker didn't get a decision in Texas. Paulie Malignaggi didn't get a decision in Texas. So why should I expect Billy Joe to get a decision in Texas if he goes out there and he earns it? That boxing history tells us that the odds are stacked against Billy Joe. Number one, Billy Joe's gonna be fighting Canelo Alvarez on Cinco freaking de Mayo. Okay, so he's fighting a Mexican fighter on Cinco de Mayo in a place which is historically known for giving the Mexican fighter the tough decisions if the fight is close. So I wish I could tell Billy Joe what he has to do to win. I mean, other than knock out Canelo, but like he's already like the fight hasn't even started yet. I want y'all to understand this. The fight hasn't even started yet, and Billy Joe's already down 3 rounds already. With the contract being signed, Billy Joe is down 3 rounds already. So hopefully Billy Joe can make this a fight. You know, I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna pray, and I'm gonna hope that whoever wins this fight gets the decision, and it's just. But I'm gonna also balance out my optimism with being realistic. That probably won't happen. So all I can hope for is a good fight. All I can hope for is Billy Joe to show up and be his best, for Canelo to show up and be his best. And the best thing I could do is definitely, God willing, if I could have the funds to go and get some help along the way, go to the fight myself. You know, you guys really seem to enjoy the content that I gave you guys before the Cholatito Estrada fight, where I was outside the arena and interviewing the fans. Now imagine if I do that same type of content and I go to Cowboy Stadium where there's 70,000 people. 67,000 of them will probably be Canelo fans. Imagine if I go there and I start talking to Canelo fans and I start talking about Demetrius Andrade's ducking Canelo, and I go there with a Boo Boo Andrade shirt and I carry a British flag to the fight. Could you imagine the videos we would produce if I go out there to Texas for the fight? I mean, I think we would produce some magical moments. So I think that's what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do, because I'm gonna be in Texas. I want to be in Texas when that fight happens. What we're going to do is we're going to go to this fight. Okay, whether I get tickets to the fight or not, we are going to go outside the Cowboy Stadium. We are going to talk to Canelo fans. We're going to tell them our opinions on Canelo. We're going to tell them, hey, this is a good fight, but he been cherry picking his whole way through 168. He don't want no smoke with Demetrius Andrade, and he don't want no smoke with Bivol. He don't want no smoke with David Benavidez. You know, he don't want no smoke with none of those guys. We're going to go to the fights, and we're going to tell the Canelo fans that, and they can voice their opinions here on True School Sports. And I'm sure it'll make for some great content, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about making great content. H Money, Mr. DAZN, we in the building, bro. Shout out to him. He says, BT, my brother, Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world. I believe so myself, man, and I think he's going to prove it whenever the hell he fights Anthony Joshua. H Money also says Canelo will knock out Billy Joe Saunders, and I think that's a possibility. I think he'll win this. I don't think he's gonna knock him out, but I think he'll win like a 115, 113 type of decision. I don't think he's gonna like outbox Billy Joe, because I do think it's gonna take Canelo some time to figure him out. I wouldn't be surprised in that fight if you see a scenario where Billy Joe in the first 6 rounds wins 4 of them. Because, like I said, the fact that he's southpaw, the fact that he can move as well as he does, the fact that he'll be the type of fighter that Canelo won't be able to immediately set his feet and plan against and throw punches. They'll throw hard punches that he likes to throw, those hard counter shots. I think it's going to take Canelo at least 5 rounds to figure out Billy Joe. But in the middle of that fight, round 6, 7, 8, you know, going into the championship rounds, I think Canelo will be at his best. And I think he'll separate himself around that point of the fight, and we'll get like a 115, 113 type of fight. But since we're in Texas, it'll be like a 117, 111 scorecard. You got to adjust it for Texas scoring. But listen, I just want to go to the fight because it's going to be 70,000 people there. I've never been to Cowboy Stadium. I've never seen Canelo fight in person. And I'm sure the atmosphere is going to be crazy. I mean, if y'all thought I was lit, and I saw H Money said that I was lit. He said, BT, you was lit at the Cholatito Gallo Estrada fight. I was absolutely lit. And there was only like 5,000 or 6,000 people there. So could you imagine how crazy I would be if there were 70,000 people there, most of which are supporting a fighter that I can't stand for the life of me? Oh, I'm gonna be on fire. I might need to have some bail money ready for that day if I go to that fight. we might need to get the bail money ready for that fight. But shout out to everybody here, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Programming reminders for tomorrow. Pops will be live for the live fight reaction for Vergil Ortiz, Maurice Hooker. I'll be at the fights getting content and vlogging the fight, vlogging my experience at the fight. So hopefully you guys enjoy that when those videos come out. But yeah, man, it's a good fight. Like listen, I might not like Canelo, but I'm fair. I thought Canelo Smith was a trash fight. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was a trash fight. I thought it was a huge mismatch. Neil Durham was a huge mismatch. But this right here, at bare minimum, I can say Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo Alvarez is a good, credible fight. It's a fight that Canelo is gonna win. I think he's gonna win because I really don't see how he could lose the fight. Billy Joe at 160 wasn't a hard puncher, right? He wasn't known for his punch power. He had a good solid pop, stinging pop, but nothing out of this world that will really give Canelo's chin problems because Canelo is durable. One thing I can say about Canelo is he's got a solid chin. He's got a granite chin. You know, he can take a shot and give one back. So in order to hurt Canelo, you're really gonna have to hit him with something out of this world. And I don't think Billy Joe had, even if this fight was at 160, I don't think Billy Joe would have the punch power to hurt Canelo. At 168, he's definitely not gonna have the punch power to hurt Canelo. So there's that. And then you got the fact that, look, he's got everything stacked in his favor. Cinco de Mayo weekend, Texas judges, and then I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but like if you guys remember, there was the whole controversy when he fought Liam Smith about the hand wraps, and they were saying that he allegedly stacked his hand wraps before the Liam Smith fight. So you gotta take these things into consideration. I'm not trying to shit on his accomplishments. I'm just putting the truth out there and calling spade a spade. I want to see a good fight. I want to see Canelo Alvarez continue to develop and show why he's one of the best fighters in the world against a guy that has some things in his style that could give him some problems. Tone Toledo says, just knock Canelo out. Yeah, man, if only it were that simple. If it were that simple, it would have happened already. You know? Canelo Alvarez, I don't think Canelo Alvarez has legitimately been hurt. And I got to give him credit. He's durable as hell. He's durable as could be. I don't think Canelo Alvarez has been hurt since the Jose Miguel Cotto fight. It's been forever since he's been hurt. Maybe he got buzzed by Golovkin, a shot somewhere in that fight. But the last time I really remember Canelo being hurt was the Jose Miguel Cotto fight. Y'all can refresh my memory if I'm wrong, but I can't remember him being hurt at all since then. Octopus H says, I think Billy will win. Canelo does not like technical and powerful boxer. It'll make him look funny. Billy knows how to hit back. Well, look, I'm holding on to hope that, Billy Joe Saunders is a southpaw. Billy Joe Saunders is a gypsy. So if there's one thing we know about these gypsy fighters, if they're not anything else, they're tough. So I don't think Canelo's gonna knock him out, because the reality is this: Canelo Alvarez couldn't knock out Callum Smith, who came to survive for 12 rounds, who was weight drained. He was right there in front of him, hitting him with everything, and he couldn't get Callum Smith out of there. I think Billy Joe Saunders is just as durable, if not more durable, than Callum Smith. So I think he will go the 12 rounds, but I think he will lose a decision. Whether he boxes good or boxes bad, I think he will lose a decision in Texas. It's written in the stars. Octopus H says, Canelo has no legs. He does not know how to run in a ring like he is a stake moving forward. Billy will show him the real boxing. Well, look, man, I'm going to go there. God willing, I'll be at the fight. God willing, I'll be at the fight. And God willing, I don't get into any fights before the fight, talking to the Canelo fans and letting them know what I think and all that stuff. Hopefully I can get you guys some great content and not get jumped by the Canelo fans. But God willing, I go to that fight. I'm gonna be there. So I'm gonna be there supporting Billy Joe. I'm going for Billy Joe because I've always liked Billy Joe. I was really impressed back in the day when he outboxed Andy Lee. When he fought David Lemieux and diffused that bomb. I was really impressed back then. I think in this fight, if Billy Joe Saunders is clicking on, I'm talking about if he's clicking on every last cylinder, like if he's at his absolute best. And this is a bold prediction. I'm not saying this. I don't think that this is gonna happen. I'm just saying if he's at his absolute best, he could turn this into David Lemieux 2.0. Because Canelo Alvarez and David Lemieux, The only thing that separates their styles is the fact that Canelo Alvarez has better head movement. But other than that, they're the same fighter. They are the same fighter. They're both flat-footed, come-forward fighters. One guy just has way better defense than the other and a better jab. That's about it. One guy has better fundamental boxing skills. But what they're both trying to do the same thing. David Lemieux and Canelo stylistically are both trying to do the same thing. The ways they go about it are different. So that's my take. But that's a big if. You're asking a lot for Billy Joe to turn that kind of performance in at 168. Shout out to all 19 of you in here. We only got 5 likes, man. Y'all being stingy. Smash that like button so that YouTube knows you're rocking with your boy BT. H Money says Billy Joe has great head movement. He does, or Canelo has great head movement. Yeah, he does. Canelo's got great head movement. That's the one thing I will say. To me, he's almost the same fighter from the Floyd fight. The only thing that's really changed is his head movement. He's got more comfortable in that pocket and he's matured defensively, but he still fights the same way. At least Canelo is stepping up in competition, but the only way Saunders will win is by KO. Absolutely, yeah. I appreciate the fact that Canelo is stepping his competition up a little bit, but it's the perfect fight for him in 168. And anybody who's watched Billy Joe, because this is what's gonna happen, right? I'm gonna tell you guys how this fight's gonna be promoted. All right, so just open your ears up and listen to your boy BT. This fight, when it's promoted, when you start hearing Chris Mannix and you start hearing DAZN and you start hearing Eddie Hearn and you start hearing Matchroom talk about Billy Joe Saunders, they're gonna show you. They're not gonna show you guys his fight at 168 against that random guy he won his title from, where he looked like crap. They're going to show you the fights at 160, the highlights from 160, when he fought David Lemieux, and he was slipping punches, and he was like this, and they're going to show you the Andy Lee fight. They're going to show you what he did at 160 as far as the highlights montage to get people to think that this fight is more competitive than it actually is. At 168, Billy Joe doesn't have the pop to hurt Canelo, and on top of that, I question whether or not he'll even have the legs to do it at 168, because I remember when I watched him fight that one guy whose name I can't even remember because he was such an irrelevant fighter. I'm not even sure he'll have the legs to do what he wants to do for 12 rounds. He might for 6, maybe even 8, but I think at some point in that fight, those legs will not be there. When you factor in the inactivity, lack of getting his body acclimated to 168, I think he's in trouble. I really think Billy Joe's in trouble. But I want to be... Listen, if there's ever a fight that I want to be wrong for, it's this one right here. I would love for Billy Joe to beat Canelo Alvarez. That would be one of the greatest moments on this channel if Canelo Alvarez lost to Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah, MB Boxing Official, shout out to you, champ. He says, Saunders looked off on 168 so far. He's adapted to a new pressure fighting style as opposed to his old counter-punching boxing ways. I got Canelo by UD. Exactly. And that you bring up a great point, MB. Billy Joe doesn't even fight the way Billy Joe is known for fighting at 168. So that's another problem. Canelo is the zone's cash cow. He will win. It is already written. Billy Joe Saunders does not have the power to KO Canelo. Exactly. That's why I'm sitting here hoping that God can grant us a miracle, that God can grant us some sort of sign that boxing is somewhat of a fair sport. I know it's not a fair sport, but at least somewhat of a fair sport, because I think Billy Joe will give Canelo some fits in this fight, and he might just do it. He might actually legitimately win this fight, but even if that happens, if you don't knock him out, he's gonna lose. Do I think Spence versus Crawford will ever happen? Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because we might get developments with that fight tomorrow, because if you guys haven't heard or if you haven't thought about it, Maurice Hooker is working with Terrence Crawford's team. Or, no, my bad. Scratch that. Terrence Crawford's team is working with Maurice Hooker, right? So Terrence Crawford will be in Dallas at the fight tomorrow. Errol Spence is from Dallas, okay? And Errol Spence said he's going to be there. So who's to say they don't run into each other again? And maybe tomorrow is the day they finally, pick their balls up, both of them, sit down like men, negotiate the fight, get some pen to paper, and make the biggest fight in the welterweight division. That's my hope for the fight. So right now, tomorrow my answer can be different, but right now my answer is no. That fight will never happen. Too many egos, too much politics, too many roadblocks with that fight. But maybe tomorrow, if cooler heads prevail and we can get these guys to talk to each other and just get away from social media and talk man to man, mano a mano, you know, maybe we get the fight. But I'm being optimistic. Angel Octopus says Gypsies. Yes, the Gypsies. Listen, Canelo has fought many a fighter his life, but has Canelo ever fought a Gypsy warrior? Has he ever fought a slick, quick, athletic, southpaw Gypsy boxer? I don't think so. I don't think so. Hey, I want to ask you guys a question. So if I go to this Canelo fight, or no, not if, when I go to the Canelo fight to go outside the stadium and talk to the fans, do you guys think I should wear a Demetrius Andrade shirt that says, like, I don't know, maybe I could put, like, maybe I can get a Demetrius Andrade shirt that says Canelo's daddy, or like it's me again? I want to go to the fight with a Demetrius Andrade shirt. That's what I'm gonna do. What do you guys think? MB Boxing Official, shout out to you. He says Angel Fierro got a tremendous win last night over Machado. Great comeback and KO. Oh man, it was. Listen, if you guys haven't watched these last couple of Ring City USA cards on Thursday nights, man, this Thursday night boxing's been great. You know, the Brendan Adams fight was spectacular against Boachuk. He had a great come from behind knockout victory. Last night we had Angel Fierro, who was a late replacement on 6 days' notice, replacing Hector Tanahara, fighting Alberto Machado, who, you know, if many of us remember, Machado was supposed to be the next big Puerto Rican star at 130. Didn't happen. He got destroyed by Andrew Cancio, not once but twice. Got himself a comeback win on 35, and this was supposed to be another win for him, you know, to move up in the ranks, you know, and build towards bigger and better things. Nope. Absolutely not. The guy, I mean, he was dominating the fight. He scored a knockdown the first round, a knockdown the second round, won the third round, and then, like, Angel Fierro just showed that his spirit wasn't broken, and he stayed in the fight. And Machado made one technical mistake. He threw I think it was a jab. He pulled it back, and he pulled it all the way down here. And when that happened, Fierro shot a left hook, caught him clean on the chin, and it was another comeback knockout on Ring City USA. So Ring City USA, as far as I'm concerned, as far as how boxing's played out in the whole year so far, Boachuk Adams and Fierro versus Alberto Machado, those are two fight of the year candidates. I don't think it's a fight of the year so far. I think Charlatito Estrada is the fight of the year, but those are two definite candidates. So yeah, great card so far. Shout out to my main man, Johnny Boy Boxing. And I see you too, Ruben Crespo. Ruben Crespo is the champ. He says Canelo versus Boo Boo Andrade. Make that shit happen. You damn right, champ. We need to make all that shit happen. We need these fights to happen. That's the fight. That's the fight for Canelo. I don't want to hear about no other fights. You know, this fight right here between Saunders and Canelo, it's a good, credible fight. But this fight, if you want to be technical and you want to be real, this is the fight. This is the battle between the two guys that have been ducking the shit out of Demetrius Andrade. You got Canelo, who could have fought Demetrius Andrade at 154 like 6 years ago when Boo Boo Andrade was WBO champion. He said no. He wanted to go fight James Kirkland. And then whatchamacallit, Canelo waited for Demetrius to get stripped of the WBO title before he fought Liam Smith for that same vacant title. So they ducked him there. Then at 160, didn't want to fight him. You know, they were both under the same promotional company. Canelo had all the belts but the WBO. All he had to do to become undisputed was fight Demetrius Andrade. And what did he do? What did our main man Canelo do? He ducked Demetrius. In my H Money boys, he's ducking Demetrius Andrade. He's ducking Demetrius Andrade. Ducking the shit out of him. He said, they asked him, would you fight Demetrius Andrade after he had all the belts? And he said, oh, I don't want to fight him because he's boring. I don't want to fight him because he's boring. Does that sound like the words of a guy who wants to fight? It don't sound like that to me. And now all of a sudden, now that Dave Benavidez don't got a belt at 168, and now that Demetrius Andrade isn't at 168, Canelo says, I want to be undisputed. So, you know, I want to see that fight. I want to see that fight. And you know, Saunders, don't even get me started on Saunders. Saunders had the fight with Demetrius Andrade, and this dude was putting drugs in his system to not fight the guy. Or whatever happened. He tested positive for a substance or whatever. And that fight got canceled. And then when it got canceled the first time, he never went back and try to make the fight happen again. So it's two guys. It's not just Canelo who's ducking Demetrius Andrade. It's also Billy Joe. This is the battle between the duckers at Cowboy Stadium. H Money says yes. Wear a Demetrius Andrade shirt. You damn right. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna wear, I don't know what I'm gonna put on the shirt as far as text, but I'm going to wear a Demetrius Andrade shirt, and I'm carrying a British flag to that fight. And we're gonna go and we're gonna interview all the Canelo fans. I'm gonna wear a British flag as a cape with a Demetrius Andrade shirt on, and we're gonna talk to the Canelo fans. It's gonna be probably the best day of content we've ever had here on True School Sports. I promise you. Kyle Palmer says Parker versus Chisora is now officially May the 1st. Oh, I saw that, and that's a hell of a fight. You know, I think it's honestly at this point in time, I think it's a pick'em. I think that fight's really a pick'em because Parker, for a long time, has been showing regression as a heavyweight. He just fired Kevin Berry. Now he's got Andy Lee as his trainer. So maybe something can happen. Maybe something can happen to where he changes and he shows a bit more aggression in his fights. But, like, he looked bad in the Junior 5 fight, grinded it out, got a victory. Looked bad in the Huey Fury fight a couple years ago. Looked bad in the Anthony Joshua fight. He's been looking bad for a long time. And for Chisora, it's the opposite. I think over Chisora's last 5 fights, you know, early in his career, he was losing a lot of fights and he was a very basic boxer. But ever since he started training with David Haye, they put a little hot sauce on Derek Chisora. They put a little skills on Derek Chisora, and he fights like a I mean this in a respectful way. He fights like a corner store bootleg version of like Joe Frazier. He's got that real, like, he's bending at the waist looking for big hooks, and we've seen him score some devastating knockouts, most notably when he was an underdog against Carlos Takam. So he's gonna come into this fight with Parker. I think he can win this fight. And if the Parker from the Junior 5 fight or Dillian White or Huey Fury shows up, I could see Chisora getting the W. So it's a good fight, considering where both guys are at this point in their career. BT says, who do you got between Okoli and Glovacki? That's a good question, man. I haven't really pondered that fight too much. I was just watching something on it yesterday. I think if the fight goes the full distance, I think Okoli will get a decision, just because he's the matchroom fighter, he's the establishment fighter, and he's one of the guys that Eddie Hearn does have a more of an interest in than others. So I think he'll get a decision even if it's close. But at the same time, Okoli's never been in with a guy at this level with Glovacki. Glovacki is a good fighter. In his day, he was an above-average fighter. He was an elite fighter at cruiserweight. But how much does he really have left? I'm not so sure. I'd have to go back and watch some more of his fights that give you guys a better prediction. But I will lean towards Okoli right now. I want Glovacki to win, though, because Lawrence Okoli beat my boy. He beat my friend. He beat Isaac Chamberlain. So I want Okoli to get knocked out for beating Isaac Chamberlain. This truck is crazy. They got a phone. He said, Chef BT, you're damn right. Chef BT cooking. You damn right, champ. I'm cooking up like James Harden right now. I'm cooking up like freaking Rachel Ray, Bobby Flay, Guy Fieri, everybody on the food channel. Brendan Smith, shout out to Brendan Smith. He says, I want to see Tank Davis. I want to see Tank Davis fight. The PBC needs to make these fights happen. The PBC got to do something, man. The PBC got to do something with Tank Davis, because, I mean, they're talking about him fighting Mario Barrios, which I don't think is a bad fight. It's really not a fight that I want to see the most, but if it happened, I wouldn't complain about it. And I would understand why they're making it. Fuck, man. You guys asked me some tough questions today. White or Povetkin, who do you got for the rematch? Damn, bro. That's another one. If it goes 12 rounds, White is definitely getting a decision. But the thing is, Dillian White has such bad legs that if Povetkin can catch him with a shot, he could really iron him out again. And Dillian White was, before that knockout, Dillian White was having the best performance of his career before the knockout. So, does he rebound? Can he get it done? I don't know, man. I don't even want to predict that fight, to be honest with you. I'll go with Dillian White again, which means Povetkin's going to win. So, you know, I want Povetkin to win. So, if I pick Dillian White, that means Povetkin will win. So, I'm going to go Dillian White so Povetkin can win. But yeah, man, we here at your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. It's Friday afternoon. I'm killing some time right now. You know, gonna be at the fights tomorrow. So if you're in the Dallas area, you know, you see me at the fight, I'll tell you exactly what I'll be wearing tomorrow, so you guys can find me. I'll be in a black shirt in gold font. It'll say Sinisa Super Bad. in gold font, it'll say Sinisa Superbad Estrada. And then I have red jeans on, and I have a black hat on that says I have a black hat. I have this exact black hat on with the pink font that says Untouchable. So if you have to fight tomorrow, I'll be very easy to find, very easy to find. But let's talk about the fight, because that's also what this live is about. This live just isn't about it's not about Cinnamon Boy Canelo. It's also about the fight tomorrow between Vergil Ortiz and Maurice Hooker. Which listen. Everybody keeps shitting on this fight. Everyone's saying it's going to be an easy fight for Vergil. And maybe it will, because Virgil's just that damn good. You know, and if he knocks Maurice Hooker out in 4 rounds or less, or 5 rounds or less, then I have to really put some respect on his name. But I don't see it as that kind of fight. I see it as a fight for Vergil Ortiz, where he's going to get some good learning experience. He might even go through a little bit of trouble early in the fight. But I think his physical strength will be the difference in the middle rounds. And he eventually gets Maurice Hooker out of there by the 8th round. That's my objective view on the fight. Now, the fan in me, the boxing fan in me, as far as who I'm supporting, I want Maurice Hooker to win. You know, I've liked his career. I really appreciate the progression of his career. You know, this is a guy that really had to get it out the mud. You know, being undefeated fighter after undefeated fighter, was brought in to lose against Terry Flanagan on the road in England, won the title in England. Then he defended the belt on the road again against Alex Saucedo when Top Rank was trying to build him into the next big thing. So this is like Maurice Hooker he's no like A-level fighter. I'm not saying he's an A-level fighter, but he sure as shit ain't no trash fighter either, like people are making him out to be. And I think you can't ever underestimate a guy like that. And then when you factor in he's moving up to a new weight class, when you factor in that he's moving. What's going on with this car? So like right now I'm in this car right now. I'm in this truck, and like it's like dialing the phone. It's crazy. This truck is crazy. But when you factor in that he's moving up to 147 and he's gonna have extra weight on him, I think his chin is gonna be a little bit more durable. I'm not saying he's gonna have a granite chin. And it's a better fight than people think, you know. And I think and then he's had a year and a half to train with Terrence Crawford's team. So I think he's going to pick up some good things from them. And I think we will see, at least for the first 4 rounds, I think we will see a more disciplined Maurice Hooker. We'll see a guy that's trying to use his jab, trying to box, trying to move. Because if you watch the fight, if you go back and you watch the fight with Jose Ramirez before he got knocked out, Maurice Hooker was doing his thing. He was giving Ramirez some serious work before he got knocked out. You know, so he's no slouch. This is a guy that was 1 win away from unifying the titles 140. You know, not a bum by any stretch of the imagination. Mango Juice 007 says, good fight. I'm more familiar with Vergil Ortiz and believe he stops Hooker late. That's my assessment as well. And I'm pretty familiar with both fighters. Vergil Ortiz, another thing that I think will be the difference in that fight is mentality in the approach of both fighters. You know, Maurice Hooker, even though he's a long, rangy guy who likes to, even though he's a long, rangy guy, he likes to fight. He likes to come forward, and he likes to go toe-to-toe. Vergil Ortiz, he obviously has the physical strength and the power to go toe-to-toe if need be, but he's like a surgeon. Vergil Ortiz, the best way I would describe him, he's like a patient cardiologist. This guy's a surgeon in there. He picks you apart with the jab. You know, he sets up his left hooks. But he's not a fighter that's gonna press you early on. He waits for his openings, and he doesn't rush anything. He's as cool as the other side of the pillow, Vergil Ortiz. And I think that attribute, if Maurice Hooker isn't careful, if Maurice Hooker wants to go in there and make it a shootout early in the fight, it will work against Maurice Hooker. So that's another reason why I think Vergil will win. But to be honest with you guys, look, the so-called main event is cool. The so-called main event is cool, but I got to keep it a buck with you guys. I got to keep it a bean with you guys. I got to keep it 100 with you guys. That's not the real main event. The real main event of this fight is the co-main event. Okay, it was just elevated to co-main event. The real main event of this fight, of this card, is Sinisa Estrada taking on Annabelle Ortiz for the WBA minimum weight title. Now, I know a lot of people out there do not like women's boxing, and I don't blame you, because I like women's boxing, and sometimes I can't even watch the damn women's boxing. But I can assure you tomorrow, I can 1,000% assure you tomorrow that this will be one of the best fights on the card. If Hooker versus Ortiz isn't a good fight, this might be the best fight on the card tomorrow. Because you got, let's start off with the opponent. You got Annabelle Ortiz, right? Been a champion for a long time. I think about 7 or 8 years to be exact. Tomorrow will be her... she's attempting to make her 13th title defense. It's her first fight outside of Mexico. And she's taking on a fighter in Sinisa Estrada, who is 19-0, 8 KOs. But if you look closer at the resume and the girl she fought, Sinisa Estrada, her knockout percentage should be like a lot higher, because what most people fail to understand was in her first 11 fights, she wasn't signed. She wasn't signed her first 11 fights, which means that she didn't have the promotional push or political power to fight at her natural weight class or be in situations that were most advantageous for her. So through her first 11 fights, she was fighting at 105. She would fluctuate in weight between 108 and 115. Most fights were at flyweight. She turned pro as a flyweight, but she was up and down in weight. And sometimes she was fighting girls that were like 118 pounders that had to suck down to 112 and 115. But either way, she was fighting these bigger girls, and she would beat them and she would dominate them, but she couldn't stop them because they were just so much bigger than her. So it's a known fact, if you research her career like I have. In fact, I can almost assure you nobody's researched her career like I have. It's a known fact that her natural weight classes are 105 pounds and 108 pounds. She's never ever fought at 105 pounds until tomorrow. And like I had a chance to talk to her recently, like 2 days ago. 2 days ago, Sinisa just randomly FaceTimed me, and we talked for like 15 minutes. And she was telling me, like, look, this is the best I've ever felt in my entire career. And I believe her, because I was looking in her eyes, and she looked very self-assured. She just looked happy to be at the weight class, you know? So I think tomorrow we're going to get the best performance, and we're going to have somebody in women's boxing who can challenge Claressa Shields for being the face of women's boxing, to be honest with you. Because, and the thing is, too, she fights in a better weight class than Claressa Shields, so there's better fights out there and better opponents out there for her than Claressa has, even though that's not Claressa's fault. But I think it's a great fight. That to me is the sleeper fight tomorrow, is Sinisa Estrada versus Annabelle Ortiz. T-Tone Toledo 1965 says, Hooker has top guts. He will fight anybody. Top boxing respect. That's what I'm saying, man. That's why I don't like it, man. I've been talking to people here in Dallas and even some boxing fans online, and they're disrespecting Maurice Hooker. And it's ridiculous to me, because boxing fans, I got to keep it 100 with you guys. Boxing fans, some of y'all are full of shit. Because some of you guys say, we want a guy who fights the best, who's not afraid to go in there and take on all the best challenges, right? And then here you have a guy, Maurice Hooker, who won his title on the road, who defended his title on the road when he was champion. You know, been the underdog so many times in his career and found his way to where he's at in his career right now. And he could have, you know, it's his first fight at welterweight. He could have taken like a tune-up fight or 2 tune-up fights at welterweight and gotten some easy wins. But he said, no, I want to know how good I really am. And I'm not afraid of Vergil Ortiz. And he knows that if he wins this fight, that puts him in great position. So you got to respect a guy like that. And if you can't respect a guy like Maurice Hooker, then honestly, like, God forgive me, fuck off. If you can't like respect Maurice Hooker, at least for his mentality, you don't gotta think he's this great fighter or that his skills are the best. But if you can't respect his mentality, then you need to go somewhere else. You need to go watch tennis. You need to go watch croquet. You need to go watch freaking women's professional ice hockey or some shit. Because boxing clearly ain't the sport that you need to be following. Pancho Villa, he says boxing fans from the U.S. are toxic. Not all of us. Not all of us are toxic. I think you have toxic fans. I think you have toxic fans in every fan base. I think you have toxic British fans. I think you have toxic Mexican fans. I think you have toxic American fans. It's just that there just seem to be more of the American fans that are toxic because they have platforms and they started cult groups like the LDBC. So, Davidian Simmons, he says, hey, God bless you always, champ. Hey, shout out to you, champ. Hope you're doing good. Make sure y'all smash that like button if you haven't done so already. It's your boy BT, Brendan Taylor. You're live at True School in the afternoon. I'm sitting in this truck right now. It's a nice truck, by the way. I gotta find out how much one of these trucks costs. I want to give me a truck like this. It's a beautiful truck. Mongo says, I love women. I mean, who doesn't? What heterosexual male doesn't love women? See what else is going on. We got those fights tomorrow. Oh, I wanted to give a shout out to one of the local fighters back home in South Florida. I'm in Texas right now. I want to give a shout out to my main man, 50 grand, Isaiah Night Thompson, cruiserweight prospect. Right now he's 2-0, 2 KOs. Both of them are first round knockouts. He's also fighting tomorrow on a local card. I'm hoping that he can get another knockout victory in the first round because Isaiah Thompson is a very talented fighter. He comes from the same gym that I learned how to box in, and that's Canino's boxing gym in Dania Beach. So, you know, much love, much respect, and just my thoughts are with Isaiah Thompson tomorrow. He's fighting tomorrow. See what else is going on? What else we got going on in boxing? Oh, so I was also just reading that apparently Eddie Hearn wants to use the franchise belt. He wants to try to use the WBC. He's trying to get WBC to enact the WBC to enact Gallo Estrada as franchise champion, so that Romacai could fight for the regular belt, and that so that Cholatito and Estrada 3 could happen next. So what do you guys think about that? I was reading something like that this morning. I think that's what it said. But I know that Eddie Hearn is trying to get the WBC to enforce or upgrade. I think it was Gallo to franchise champion, and then have Romacai fight for the regular WBC title, and then Estrada versus Cholatito 3 could happen, and then that'll be what it is. What do you guys think about that? Davidian Simmons says he's rocking with Vergil Ortiz versus Maurice Hooker, but Mighty Mo could pull off. He could, man. He really could. I'm rooting for him. I'm gonna be there tomorrow. I'm hoping and I'm praying to God that outside the arena tomorrow they have those headbands like the one like the Cholatito one I had, and I'm gonna buy me a Maurice Hooker one tomorrow. You know, he's a friend of the channel. I fuck with Maurice Hooker heavy. You know, when I was doing my boxing awards show in 2018, his fight with Alex Saucedo was my 2018 fight of the year. Perote Ramirez, he says, you are nothing but a loser hater, and your argument is based on excuses. Well, you're nothing. You're nothing but a sad sack. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna say some really messed up stuff, and I don't think anybody. I should be expending energy on anybody like that. So I'm not gonna go off on you, Ramirez. All I'm gonna say is God bless you. Thank you for watching the channel. I might be a loser hater, but I'm a loser hater that you tuned in to watch, that you wasted your time watching and commenting on. You could have been doing anything else in the world. You could have been shopping for a car. You could have been getting you some money. You could have been having sex with you could have been having sex with your wife or girlfriend or your husband if you go that way. You could have been freaking exercising. You could have been reading a book, but you came to come on True School Sports and spew bullshit out of your mouth. So for that, I thank you, and God bless. But yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, so Cholatito versus Estrada 3. Hopefully it happens, you know, next. You know, I'm hoping it don't happen in Texas. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it'll happen in California. That's what Eddie Hearn was saying. Eddie Hearn was saying that if it does happen, they're looking at doing it at the StubHub Center or the Dignity Health Sports Park, what it's called. You know. That's right. That's a fact, man. I love how like people come on here and say, "Oh, I'm nothing but a loser hater," but I'm a loser hater that you tuned in to watch. You know, you tuned in to watch and you tuned in to give me that energy, so I appreciate it. You know. Now, what I will say, Perote Ramirez, he says, and I can also expose a hater like you. Expose me. You know what? You're in the comment section. I got time. I'm killing time right now. So how are you gonna expose me? What are you gonna say? You're gonna come with the same straw man arguments that most boxing fans come at me with. So what excuses have I? What excuses? Be specific, because I'm a man of clarity. I like clarity. Please turn the ignition off or start engine. Oh shit. Okay. Hold on. All right. Be a man of clarity. What excuses did I make that you're referring to? Punk, clown. I don't understand some of you guys. Y'all come on here and y'all say other stuff. You say, oh, it's all based off excuses. Which excuse? The one you mean the one where I'm saying that Texas judges, it's hard to get a decision in Texas if you're fighting a Mexican fighter in the state. It's a fact. It's not. I wouldn't say if it wasn't a fact. And if you want me to stop saying it, don't get mad at me for pointing it out. Get mad at the judges for always being how they are. Don't get mad at me. I'm just a messenger. Let's see, my battery on right. I'm on 99% right now. I'm on 99%, and I got time to kill. So I'm waiting for you, Ramirez. Pancho says Ramirez is an example of a toxic U.S. boxing fan. Is he a toxic boxing U.S.? Well, how? I don't know. I don't know him from anywhere. You are excusing yourself to the judges when the fight hasn't even started yet. No, I'm not excusing anything. I don't think Canelo needs the judges to beat Billy Joe Saunders, to be honest with you. I think he's going to win. With or without the judges, I think he will win a decision. I think he will win a 115, 113, maybe a 116, 112 type of decision against Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders can't punch at 168 hard enough to get Canelo's respect. And Canelo has matured into a fighter that knows how to break you down. So if you're going to outbox him, you better at least have something to keep him honest with, to keep him at bay. All I'm doing is I'm pointing out that if Billy Joe Saunders does fight to the best of his abilities and he does earn a decision, he will more than likely not get a decision. How is that an excuse? Cholatito just turned in one of the best performances we're ever going to see. He turned in a great performance against Estrada. He won that fight clearly, easily. He won it easily. Freaking Estrada's over there shadow boxing like he's in Guadalajara, chasing chickens. And they didn't give it to Cholatito. Pernell Whitaker had one of the easiest fights of his career against Chavez. Didn't get a decision. Paulie Malignaggi outboxed Juan Diaz. Didn't get a decision. So how am I hating? How is this being? I'm not even a Billy Joe fan like that. Personally, I don't even like Billy Joe. Billy Joe ducked Demetrius Andrade, just like Canelo ducked Demetrius Andrade. But unlike Canelo, he actually had a fight signed with him, and then he never even tried to go back and make the fight happen. So I should be hating on Billy Joe more than Canelo, to be honest with you, because he's worse than Canelo. Perote says, then why do you mention them? The judges? Why do I mention them? Because, well, the reason if you're talking about the judges, the reason I mention them is because we just had a fight not even a week ago that really was a clear fight to score. The majority of the boxing, the lion's share of the boxing world that watched that fight knows who won that fight, and it was Cholatito Gonzalez. It wasn't Gallo. Gallo did some good things. Gallo fought an intelligent fight, but he lost, and he lost clearly. Doesn't mean he's a bad fighter. Doesn't mean he's trash. Just means he lost. Again. And they took it from him. They took Cholatito's moment of glory from him. Where do you think, Kyle Palmer, shout out to him, he says, where do you think the Joshua Fury fight will take place? Saudi Arabia. Somewhere in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia, Dubai, something like that. I'm going to go with that seems like a pretty safe bet because, Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum have talked about it in the past about going to Dubai and Saudi Arabia. And we know one thing. We know when it comes to money, they're going to put up that money. They got that Arab money. You guys remember that Busta Rhymes song? That Arab money song? That's exactly what Saudi Arabia is. They got that Arab money, that oil well money, playing golf. So they'll put up the money for it. Apparently, I was reading too that Eddie Hearn was approached by somebody in Asia. I think it was Asia for a fight. He didn't say exactly where in Asia, but he said there's a big offer. So it looks like the venue for this fight, like where it's gonna be, there's gonna be a big lot of jockeying for position as to who gets the fight. So we'll see, man. But I think for me, the front runner has to be Saudi Arabia because Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing already have that working relationship in place with the Saudi Arabians. They're going to put up the money, and it just makes the most business sense. Now, in a perfect world where money wasn't the ultimate dictator of everything, this fight should be happening at Wembley Stadium in the UK. There's really no other place that fight should be happening because these are the two premier British heavyweights of their time fighting for the undisputed championship. This will probably never happen again, at least not for like another 100 years. Two British fighters ruling the division like this. So I feel like Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing, everybody, they owe it to the British boxing public to do right by the fans that have supported them, whether they're in the UK or America, to put the fight there at Wembley Stadium, the mecca of British boxing. That's where it should be. That's my opinion. I feel the first fight should be in the UK, and the second fight should be wherever the hell they want to put it, or vice versa. Maybe the second fight can be the UK, and the first fight can be wherever they want to put it. But at either way, one of those fights needs to be in the UK. That's what I'm saying. Chocolatito was shafted. Everyone knows that he was shafted. Like, you gotta be, listen. I've been having this argument with my friend here in Texas, Felipe. Shout out to Felipe. But like, you have to really, I mean, I don't know what you like, because defense is a scoring criteria. So if you're saying Chocolatito lost the fight against Estrada, then what you're telling me is that defense doesn't matter, and neither does effective punching, because he was the better fighter in both those departments, and that's not even a debate. By mentioning the judges, you are already opening the umbrella. And then Mongo says the umbrella is already open. Yeah, it's been open. That man, listen, man. That umbrella has been open since Pernell Whitaker got robbed against Julio Cesar Chavez. All right, it's been open since back then, and probably even before back then. All right, so they didn't need me to open up the umbrella. The umbrella has been open. It's been raining gift decisions and corruption in Texas for a long time. Boxing wise, I love Texas as a state, but for boxing, I'm not a fan of it. Like the commission, like, it's been raining corruption and robberies for decades now, and I'm just pointing it out. I don't need to open up the umbrella. The umbrella is freaking open. The umbrella is open, and it's on the freaking clearance aisle at freaking HEB and Kroger and whatever your favorite department store is, your favorite grocery store, whatever. AutoZone. I think the positive, because I'm gonna be positive because I'm a positive guy. I think the good thing about this fight is that it's getting the world back to some damn sense of normality. You know, we're talking about 70,000 people at Cowboy Stadium to watch a boxing match. It's the kind of atmosphere boxing needs. It's the kind of it's what boxing needs in general. Like that kind of atmosphere, that kind of energy. I want to go to a fight. Like, I'm longing to watch a fight and go to a fight that feels like a big fight, because like I was at Chocolatito Estrada, and it was a big fight. It was the biggest fight that could be made at 115. But like, and the atmosphere was good. Like, I gotta give credit to the Mexican fans that were there, and I gotta give credit to the Nicaraguan fans that were there. They made it the best atmosphere they could, but there's only 5,000 or 6,000 people, so it just felt like it was missing that little extra oomph that I'm used to I'm accustomed to when going to big fights. With this fight, I'm not gonna be missing that. We're gonna have tons of Mexicans. It's Cinco de Mayo weekend. Half the stadium's probably going to be drunk out of their mind. You're going to have the Brits, probably like 2,000 or 3,000 Brits fly into town, which means you're going to have 3,000 more drunk people in the stands, because the Brits are all going to get freaking wasted, more than likely, because the Brits can drink like no other. The British people can drink like no other. I've seen it firsthand when I went to the UK. They can drink like no other. So, you know, I think it's gonna be a special atmosphere. I don't know if it's gonna be a special fight, but it'll be a special atmosphere at that fight. The fact of mentioning Charlo Benavidez, Canelo has not faced them because they are on PBC. Heyman will not let them fight. How do you know that? How do you know that Benavidez? Are you sure about that? Because, I mean, Canelo Alvarez, at the end of the day, boxing's about money, and we've seen in the past. Al Heyman has blocked fights, but if there's enough money to go around, I think Al Heyman will make that fight happen. If Canelo Alvarez and DAZN and Matchroom Boxing were all serious about fighting a Charlo or Benavidez, and an offer came through, a substantial offer came through, I don't think they turn it down. There's too much to gain. You gain payday. First of all, you gain a payday. You get maximum money, which at the end of the day is the end all be all for the boxing business, money. Then you get notoriety. Win or lose, that fighter's profile will be built up. He will be a more well-known fighter after that fight than he was before. Look at Avni Yildirim. Before he fought Canelo, I couldn't tell anybody about Avni Yildirim. They had no clue who he was. But now, at bare minimum, even if nobody remembers his name, they'll at least remember him as the Turkish guy that fought Canelo. You know, and that's an improvement on his profile. So, I don't agree with that. Especially when you factor in, especially for Benavidez, when you factor in that Benavidez just won the WBC final eliminator, I definitely don't agree with that. No way, no how. You know, don't get mad at me because I'm pointing things out, and Canelo Alvarez is carefully picking his opposition. Or no, not Canelo. Eddie Reynoso is carefully picking Canelo's opposition for him. That's really the guy I should be getting mad at. I shouldn't get mad at Canelo. It should be freaking Eddie Reynoso, because Eddie Reynoso is his trainer and he's his manager. He's the guy picking these fights. He's the one who fought Canelo Smith. He's the one who fought Yildirim. He's the one who picked these fights to happen. So it's really Eddie Reynoso, not Canelo. But yeah, man. It's your boy BT. We're live here on True School Sports. It's the untouchable True School Sports empire. Friday afternoon, live. Just chilling, man. Just enjoying the calm before the storm. You know, before we see what I hope is tomorrow. I'm hoping tomorrow we get a good fight. I'm really hoping that tomorrow is a Texas-style shootout, a barn burner, and I hope it goes well tomorrow for Maurice Hooker and Vergil Ortiz. But listen, as long as Seniesa Estrada gets that world title tomorrow, I'm okay. I'm happy with tomorrow. I don't care what happens. If she wins that world title tomorrow, I don't care what happens the rest of this year in boxing. I'm happy with how the year played out. You know, Charlo Tito turned in a great performance. Seniesa Estrada's champion. It's beautiful stuff. Then let's see, next Thursday we got Amanda Serrano versus Danielle Bermudez, and look, that's gonna be a good fight. Ring City USA is on a really good run right now, putting on amazing fights, and I think Bermudez versus Serrano is gonna be a good fight because you got number 1 at 122 taking on number 1 at 126, two fighters that are pound for pound fighters. I think thus far today it will be the toughest test of Amanda Serrano's career. So it's nice and it's amazing, and she'll go down as a legend in Puerto Rican boxing for having being a 7-division champion. But I think next Thursday is going to be the most significant fight of her career from as far as from an opponent standpoint. So hopefully she wins. Bermudez is a tough, skilled, game, very dangerous Argentinian, and she's coming for all the smoke, all of it, every last bit of it. And then let's see, that weekend I'm not sure if anything's on that next Saturday, but Dillian White, Povetkin. I mean, a lot of you guys have been asking about Povetkin, Dillian White. I think it's a good fight. I think for Dillian White, it's a do or die fight. Like, because Povetkin's a guy that you have to beat if you want to move on to the top upper echelons of boxing and really cement yourself as one of the elite heavyweights in the world. You gotta beat Povetkin, and he already got flatlined by Povetkin once. So if he gets flatlined or loses to him again, then that already means he's not an elite heavyweight. And honestly, I don't think he's an elite heavyweight. I think he's a good heavyweight. I think he's a top 10 heavyweight, but I think he falls just short of that elite status that he's looking for. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see if he answers the bell against Povetkin. But yeah, make sure y'all smash that like button, man. Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe Saunders, May 8th, Cinco de Mayo weekend at Cowboy Stadium. So I'm thinking when I go to that fight, right? I'm trying to think about what I'm gonna wear. I want to wear a sombrero, a Demetrius Andrade shirt, and I'm gonna get a British flag and tie it like a cape. And that's gonna be that's gonna be my outfit to the fight. Yeah, man. Make sure y'all smash that like button. It's your boy BT. We're here. Let's see what else is happening in boxing. I know. I mentioned Mike Tyson yesterday. Mike Tyson's fighting an exhibition at the new Mecca of boxing, Miami. You know, Miami's getting all these fights now. You got Canelo, who fought in Miami earlier this year. You got Tyson, who's fighting in Miami this year. You got Teofimo coming to Miami this year. I mean, Jesus, man. We got Canelo, Tyson, and Teofimo all in 1 year. So shout out to South Florida. The South Florida boxing community deserves it. You know, it's a great fight town. People say Miami is not a great fight town, but if you look at the history of boxing, the Miami area, the Broward County area, you know, we put on some of the greatest fights of all time. Sonny Liston versus Muhammad Ali 1. Alexis Arguello versus Aaron Pryor. Joe Louis has fought in Miami. Floyd Mayweather fought Angel Manfredi in Miami. Canelo Alvarez has fought twice in Miami. You know, we got history. We got some damn history. But I think on that note, guys, I'm gonna cut this live a little short today because, you know, I'm not trying to make this a 2 or 3 hour ordeal. I just wanted to come by and say what's up to you guys. Before I leave, program reminders: I will be live tomorrow, my dad will be live tomorrow for the Maurice Hooker Vergil Ortiz fight. I don't know yet if I'm gonna be live for Klavaki versus Okoli. I don't think I am, but I might try to be, depending on time. If not, maybe I'll talk to my dad about it, and you guys might get 2 lives tomorrow. I might tell him tomorrow to go live for that fight as well. So yeah, 1 live fight reaction for sure tomorrow, maybe 2. I'll be there getting content and watching the fight. Make sure you guys check out all the content on the channel, everything that's already come out, like the Cholatito vlogs and the Maurice Hooker interview and other stuff I have coming out as well. Just keep supporting. I'm gonna get out of here. It was great talking to you guys. Just touching on the fight a little bit. Make sure you guys, continue to support the channel. Subscribe, all that good stuff. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dillian. So until next time, take care, guys.